thirst-quenching drink. Your favorite beverage awaits you at our refreshment stand. The show is about to start, folks, but the refreshment stand will remain open for your pleasure.
Is that too loud, Mike? Ladies and gentlemen, Radio Row would not be complete. I even had to get dressed up just for this segment.
Yeah, you look sharp.
Because as a man, you want to talk about the original sharp dress man. That is Miss Man, the playmaker. My boy. Can I call you my boy?
I am your boy, man. We go way back. And I don't take that with anything but love when you say my boy, because you're my boy too. Now you my dude, man.
You called me one other thing back in San Diego, I think, at one point.
Yeah, that was
Ladies and gentlemen, the playmaker. You see him on NFL Net. We see him everywhere. I mean, he's everywhere, 24/7. And I get older, and he stays the same age, man.
Oh, come on, man. I wish that was so. I'm changing things. And at least, hey, listen. I look one way, but functionality is the most important thing. And I'm learning a whole lot of things about how the workings are going on inside. And I got to take all of those little things, the little precautions to keep myself going. Because, I mean, it was one thing when you were 25, you can do anything, eat anything, and you'll be fine. Now that I'm 25 backwards, that thing has changed.
Tell me about
it. Good, though, TB.
I'm trying, man. I just try to follow in your footsteps, man.
You look
That's what
good.
I do. You taught me a lot about football when we were doing the best damn together and traveling this. Played in like 30 Super Bowl. Yeah, San Diego was when?
Yeah.
That wasn't 20.
No, I'm talking about when we were doing Best Damn.
Oh, yeah.
That was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 2000, so it's 19 years ago, man.
Right.
Well, San Diego, that Super Bowl was 03, I think.
Yeah, that was in that era because that's when we were working together, and we went to San Diego. We went to New
York. We had some fun. We did have some fun. Each one of them.
And then we went to Dallas, and there was a snowstorm. And
I couldn't believe that. And you stuff started coming out. I was like, oh, my God. Because I got here Saturday. You know, I had some appearances to do Saturday and Sunday, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, that's when we got. We drove down from Philly. We drove,
like, oh, my God, this is the greatest. This is going to be great. And then Tuesday night, Jack knocked at the door. Knock, and let me in. I was like, oh, my God, it's cold here. So I think it'll get out, though. I think it'll move out before the weekend.
Remember in 2000 when the ice storm came on Saturday, and then Dallas had all that snow during the week, and then it finally got good for the weekend.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, it was beautiful, but we didn't have the equipment to handle all of that snow on the road, which limited people's movement.
Now, of course, we have We're not in Minnesota. It's like 50 below zero. Imagine if we were there this year.
I'm so thankful for that. Last year was enough. It was too much, man.
Who can live like
seriously,
that?
Man, I don't. I'm cool. I understand. Everybody has their own thing. But why, if you have a functioning brain within your cranium, in your head, why would you live in a place like Minnesota?
I don't know. I can't figure it out.
Minus 20 right now.
Minus
It's warmed
20.
up to
But
minus
that's
20.
not
The
wind
summers
chill.
are beautiful, Michael.
A guy picked me. One of the drivers picked me up when we were in Minnesota. They said, he said, man, it's so cold. He said, what are you talking about? It's -5. This is a blessed day.
Yeah.
We got a blessed day. I said, dude, drive your car to the nearest hospital. Check yourself in. Check yourself in when you say -5.
Balmy.
Man, this is a blessed day. We got a good day here. Go. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. I'll ride with you to make sure you get checked in because you have a problem. It was freezing.
There ain't enough lotion to
Breaking
keep.
news, Tony.
Wait,
It
we have
may
breaking
be,
news?
It may be minus 20 right now, but at 4 a.m. it will hit negative 36 degrees in Minnesota.
Beautiful.
Oh, my God.
We got to take
Wow.
a quick
It's
trip over
officially brick outside.
That's
Next
crazy.
year it's in Miami. The Super
Yeah, I
Bowl,
know.
you
That's
so,
Michael and I got to
That's
get.
absolutely crazy.
Michael and I will be rolling in Miami next year, man.
Yeah, we'll be good.
Exactly.
We'll be good in Miami.
No, I couldn't live in
We'll be
Minnesota
good.
because
Very good.
Michael
Very good.
taught me about
Very
lotion.
good.
You can't get ashy, and you're in a cold
yeah.
climate, you
Yeah,
get
yeah,
ashy, man, right?
I'm just telling you, it's some hard stuff, man. I'm so glad. And I say, I was upset because I thought they should have put a roof in the stadium in New York. I think all NFL teams they have enough money that all of these stadiums now that they're building that looks like cities should have a roof on it.
Yep.
If you're intending to bring a Super Bowl to there, you know what I mean. And if during the season you can get the choice to open the roof or close it, that's your choice. You want to play in the elements, but when playoff games come, you got to be forced to play in the good element. Now, I do believe they should have done that.
I agree.
Yeah, we missed out in Philadelphia. When they built the link. I mean, it's not. First of all, it's not big enough. It's only 60-some thousand. They need 80 plus,
Right.
and it doesn't have a roof. So
A roof on that too.
Yeah.
And then we can marriage those stages
Exactly.
together. The Super
It's up
Bowl
to you, Mike. You
with
got the
New York.
power. I don't have that kind of power,
man.
man.
Listen, I'm down on the bottom end of that totem pole, just trying to hold on to a cuff. Anybody's cuff.
No, man.
and stay
That's why.
around.
Without you, man, the NFL Network would probably have to shut it down, man. They'd have to shut it down.
I appreciate you saying that, Bruno. Really, man. You think that, man? I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Even if that's just blowing a little smoke up my tail, I so appreciate your tail blowing.
All right, before you go, I know you got to run. Who do you like? Because I got to ask everybody.
In this game?
No, in the Wing Bowl, in the Pro Bowl.
In the game,
That's
I
done.
like
In the
a lot of
Lakers
things
next
in this
game.
I'm telling you something, man. I think this game can teeter either way. Either way. And right now, I'm leaning towards the old veteran ways of the field, and they got the secondary to stop them from the press.
Well, you and I know one thing is most important, not just not being ashy and getting lotion,
Right.
but it's being hydrated, man. There's all kinds of
Absolutely.
water out there, but now alkalinity is the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
You gotta
Alkaline
have,
88.
you got to have alkaline.
Listen, and we were talking about this age thing earlier, guys. I'm telling you, and this is why it's so important. And I love this Alkaline 88 water. I'm going to tell you, I went through it this year. For about a month and a half, man, I had lost my voice. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And I went to
Let me hold one of these
I went
now.
to the doctor.
Oh, it's cold, too, man.
And they put that, they put that thing up your nose and go all the way down your throat to look at what's going on with your throat. And you know what it was? It was the acid in my stomach coming up, burning the bottom of my throat. Alkaline 88 helps with that problem.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
right,
because it's
right.
like a swimming pool. You got to have the alkalinity mix right.
Right. To help the acid in your body, to help to get this acid down in my stomach.
So this can help with
this
heartburn and
Alkaline
stuff?
88, with all of that.
All of that?
All of that comes from the acid,
Yeah.
acid in your stomach.
Wow.
The acidic foods that we eat. You got to the way they're breaking down.
It's
is
Himalayan
Alkaline
minerals,
88.
Tony.
Is it Himalayan minerals?
Right.
Yeah.
And it just happens to have the great 88 in it.
Now, where's that?
And it got
That's the
88
number of
represented.
alkaline. Is that the alkaline
8.8,
content?
right, 8.8.
And
Now, God winking. It's God winks when he marries the two couples perfectly together.
Right.
Alkaline 88, they've got 8.8, and then with 88, because it's my favorite number, 88. So we have obviously a great marriage, man. But I'm telling you something, my wife, this is the cleanest.
It really is,
water.
man. It really is.
It tastes good. It
Can
tastes clean too. It's so clean.
It's just
it really
cold and wet. It's
yeah,
perfect.
it really is. And
I'm
it's
serious,
good
man.
for you. It's
You
not
can-
just good to you.
88, man.
It's perfect. It's perfect. Seriously, it's the perfect
really
water.
is.
If it was
It really is.
87, it wouldn't be. 88 is perfect.
It's the perfect.
89 would be too much.
I just talk so hard.
With all due respect. With all due respect.
We're
With all due
kicking
respect.
old school cowboy
And
knowledge
let's say
here,
this,
man.
guys, and what I love about them too, because certainly 88 is my number, but also that they help with the Wounded Warriors Amputee Project. You
Yep.
know, and I tell people all the time, you know, even when we go through all of this stuff we're going through in the football, up until we give our veterans the treatment they deserve, and especially our Wounded Warriors
Yep.
Amputee veterans,
Absolutely.
people that have given up limbs for this country. That's why I say I can't kneel. I can't kneel because I'm on Thursday night and I watch these guys come up and hold the flag, and I see the sacrifices they've made, but the pride they come to hold that flag. And I say stop. I say the whole country, we need to redirect ourselves to really, for all of our veterans, man. I don't care who you are, where you are. You should be able to go in any doctors, any hospital, and get any treatment for free.
Yep.
Anything
They
you
shouldn't
need
be on
for
the
free.
streets.
To able to do those things. I want everybody to shut up talking about we're so patriotic. No, you're not. Shut up
Preach.
using these people as obstacles to get what you want, and let's do the things to remove all the obstacles in front of them and give them the life they deserve after the service they gave us.
Are you running in 2020?
No, but I should.
You should.
Hey,
I'm
right.
telling you right now.
There are too many skeletons and bones.
That's okay.
Everybody
You are a rude, terrible person.
See what Donald Trump just said about you, man? No.
Yeah, that's
I
what
would
I'm
campaign.
saying.
I'd go door to door in Philly knocking on doors for you, Mike.
Well, I appreciate that. I couldn't do it though. I couldn't do it. I just
How about the
couldn't do
mayor
it.
of
Well, you'd have
Dallas
to
and
take
Mayor-
a pay cut.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that too. That too. Right now, you don't.
But with the aid of this water, though, you might be
That was a long time ago. I don't know.
If you say alkaline 88 water at every household in America,
We can
that's
get it.
that's how you get it
We
done,
can
man.
get in there. We
you
can
get
get
it done.
in there. For
By the
every
way,
voter.
Tony's a complete water snob.
Oh, I am, man.
and if
Oh,
he
yeah, I
likes
am.
it, that means it's good.
No, I'm serious.
really?
I don't
Right.
lie,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
You know that.
I promise you, I'm not telling you. This water tastes great.
It's clean, it's
so
crisp,
clean.
yeah.
That's the best way to describe it. My wife is real finicky about every little thing like that too. And the first thing she said, so clean. She said so clean, and you know.
Was she talking about
it's
you or the
amazing.
water now?
She's talking about the water. She's talking about the water. You know, I told her, y'all leave my pimp alone. I tell her all the time. I said, baby, I wake up in the morning. I said, baby, I'm getting up. I'm gonna put on my skirt and I'm gonna go out here and get your money. I'll be back, pimp.
Exactly.
Get on out of here, man. Get on out of here. Get on out of here.
Man, it's impossible to love you anymore than I do, man. It's impossible.
Y'all
man.
know, you know they pimping us, man.
Exactly
They
right.
pimping us.
She's pimping me right
Yes,
there,
sir.
Ron.
They pimping us
Pimping
like
me
all
hard,
day.
man.
Buddy.
I
They
try.
all pimping
That's
us.
not. It ain't
It
easy.
ain't, but they do it. They the best at it.
Why you
right there.
why do you
They
think
the
radio-
best at it. Them wives the best at it, buddy.
All right, before
Why
I
do you
get
think
you
Radio Row's shaped like a track? Seriously, come on, man.
Exactly, brother. Good seeing you too, man.
great Michael Irvin, put your hands together.
Yes.
I believe they should build a statue for you here in Atlanta for that impassioned
About
Warriors
that.
call. I'm
Let's all
over
be
there.
better.
I'm playing, and I can't even move anymore, but I can play, Mike.
Yes, keep doing it, man. Keep serving your country that way.
Thank you,
It's a
brother.
great job.
Alkaline
Appreciate you
88.
guys. Alkaline.
Crate's home, man.
Yeah.
Back to Philly.
And
They got it in
that's
Philly
what I
yet?
got.
They
That's
got
what
it
I
in Philly?
It's in Philadelphia. You got it in Philadelphia. All the stores in Philadelphia.
Beautiful,
It's
man.
everywhere.
All right, man. You got to roll, Mike. Thanks,
All right,
brother.
guys. Good
The
seeing you
great
guys.
Michael
Great
Irvin.
stuff.
How great is that, man?
He's
man.
fantastic.
How great is Mike? He's
Okay,
pre-
we can actually take a quick break if we want, so that you can take pictures.
Yeah, let
with
me get.
Minutes till showtime. Why not add to your enjoyment with a delicious confection and drink at our attractive refreshment stand? 2 minutes till showtime. Tempt your taste with the wide variety of mouth-watering snacks available at popular prices at our refreshment stand. Awaits you at our refreshment stand.
Lots of legs here at Super Bowl 53. Legs, wings, whatever you...
A lot of sharp-dressed men.
Yes, indeed. Now I've taken off my jacket because I had to put my sharp-dressed Domenico's jacket on for Michael Irvin. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Because approaching us now is another Hall of Famer. It's like a Hall of Fame What Up Wednesday, and a man approaching us right now is one of my favorite people. He's a Hall of Famer. Let me give him a hug.
He's who Tony's referencing. He'll reference in one moment here, and that's the
great Warren Moon. I see him everywhere. When he played, when he retired.
Stuff can get me back on the field where I can make $20 million a year like these young quarterbacks. I'm going to drink a lot of this.
But you can still move around, though, Warren. 70 yards.
But I can't avoid anybody.
Right. So you're not Patrick Mahomes, you're saying right now?
No.
I don't think anybody's Patrick Mahomes right now.
I'm not even Phillip Rivers right now.
For Luigi, because he's the guy who called you.
That must be a Cal fan right there.
No, he was. I remember we were in Houston a couple years ago, and
Yes.
he's the guy who told you the story about how he called you and he thought it was Mom. Or you,
Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody's got to go back.
Got away from the West Coast.
I love the West Coast.
Why'd you go back? Because they won the Super Bowl?
No, I was there. I was been back for like 10 years, man.
I know.
But they did win the Super Bowl. Now, were you mad that the Eagles won the Super Bowl?
No, I
You're
wasn't.
not an Eagle
I
hater.
wasn't. I really liked that there was some new blood there.
Yeah.
You know,
And great story. And they almost came back again.
As much respect as I have for the Patriots, it's nice to see new teams win championships.
And the Foles story was a great story last year. Almost became another great story this year.
Whoa.
And he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid.
Somebody's going to pay him.
Yeah.
They should. They should.
Now you're hearing like Jacksonville because they've given up on Blake Bortles, and there's a couple of other teams. If you're a team that Nick Foles isn't a young kid, but he's 30, 31 now.
That's perfect age for a
yeah,
quarterback
that's
these
the prime,
days.
right?
You
That's
know,
the prime.
He's got a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience, big game experience, and he still can do the things physically. So that's exactly what you want as a quarterback.
Plus, he's not a guy that runs around. I mean, and the linemen know that. I mean, you could move around. A lot of quarterbacks who move around and win big games. But the difference is, and one of the things I always talk to a lot of players about, especially quarterbacks, is it better when your offensive line knows, or is it the system that they know when you're a mobile quarterback versus a pocket passer?
Well, a lot of times it hurts your offensive lineman when you're a mobile quarterback because, like you said, they don't know where you are. And I know Russell Wilson because certain pass plays have a certain time clock that the ball should be gone in, and that's what the offensive lineman thinks. So, if it's a three-step drop, they know 1,001, 1,002, that ball should be out of there. And next thing you know, Russell's trying to get outside the pocket, and they see that, and their guy starts to get away from them, and they end up holding the guy. So you end up with a lot of holding calls because of guys trying to make that extra protection on the quarterback, not knowing that he was going to get out of the pocket. And only the scramblers can do that, where a Nick Foles or somebody like that might make a step to the left, a little big step to the right, buy just a little bit more time and get rid of the football. That helps an offensive lineman a little bit more.
And the RPO game now, we've had the run and shoot. I mean, all these different offenses, but RPO seems to be the forte for a lot of immobile quarterbacks, right?
It is, and a lot of these guys have been doing it since high school. So Nick Foles was probably doing it in high school before he went to Arizona, and he did it with
Michigan State,
with Philadelphia the first time, right? And then he comes back to Philadelphia and he's doing it again. So he's had a lot of that in his system, and a lot of these quarterbacks who are coming out of college now, Patrick Mahomes, all these guys have been doing this for a long time, and that's why they're having so much success early in their NFL careers.
You think the run and shoot's coming back, Noir?
What they're doing now kind of is the run and shoot, Tony, to tell you the truth. They just are able to do it with a tight end on the field because these tight ends are kind of hybrid where they're big, like a tight end, 6'5", 260, but they run like wide receivers or slots. So you can do all the different things in the spread passing game, but you can also move him in there at the tackle and run the football with a tight end blocking too.
Now, Warren, you do a lot of great stuff for the community. You were in Houston, which is a big town for you, and then Lee Steinberg. You always go to his events. And so what do you got planned this week here in Atlanta?
All the things you just talked about. I'll be at Lee's party on Saturday. We've got our Pro Football Hall of Fame luncheon on Friday afternoon. We got the Man of the Year reception tomorrow night. That was a former Man of the Year. So there's a lot of different things going on that I get a chance to see a lot of people, and we have honors coming on Saturday night. We'll name the new Hall of Fame class. I'm on the board of the Hall of Fame, so just a lot of good things going on.
Now, when you get to Atlanta, the College Football Hall of Fame's right next door here, so you had a chance to. I mean, obviously you're in there, right?
I've been there before for a awards. The College Football Awards were filmed there 2 years ago when Deshaun Watson won Quarterback of the Year. I presented that award to him, so I got a chance to meet him there. That was a pretty nice night.
And of course, in Houston, I mean, obviously,
I have a ton of family here.
You in Atlanta?
So
really?
Tonight I'm having a dinner with about 25 family members.
Oh, wow. You're like everywhere you go, man. You have like.
You should have saw when I was playing, man. And they think tickets are free. I only need 6. Can you give me 4? I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Last thing before we let you go, and that, of course, is Brady. I mean, is there any doubt he's the greatest of all time at this point?
You know, him and Joe Montana keep going back and forth in my mind. Every time I think Joe goes back ahead of him, he does something like this year and gets his team right back to the Super Bowl again. So they're kind of 1A, 1B, and they keep going back and forth only because Joe went 4 times, won 4 times. never threw an interception in a Super Bowl. That's very, very impressive in the biggest game of the year. But what Tom is doing is impressive too, especially at his age.
Exactly, and obviously in that era, we were talking about it earlier on the show with Michael Irvin. You know, the Cowboys dynasty era, you kept your players.
Right.
The Niners dynasty era, the Steelers, you always kept guys. And then the free agent era came, and it's even harder than ever to maintain that excellence because the cast of characters has changed a lot in New England, but the consistent is Belichick and Brady.
Yeah, that's been the consistent, like you said. And Belichick kind of takes a different philosophy where most people try and keep their core together. He gets rid of some of his core as soon as he feels like they're going to be at a point where they make too much money and bring somebody else in. So he's really good at the chess match of picking in the right players, putting in the right guy, getting rid of the right guy at the right time.
But I know players don't like that feel disrespected when they play for a team and then they say, well, you know, we don't want you anymore.
Right.
But they always go back. I saw Vince Wilfork is back, you know, and he was there for a long time and they let him go. But when you win a couple of Super Bowls, even if you're upset at the beginning, don't you always go back home and say, this is where it all happened for me?
That makes up for a lot because when you're a champion, people can't take that feeling away from you no matter what happens after that. And you'll always be a champion forever with that group of guys. So I'm sure that's what lies in all these guys' minds when they want to go back. This is where it happened. I'll always be welcome here, even though business-wise it was probably time for me to go.
Last question, and that, of course, is the game. Brady, you saw the last couple of games picking teams apart. His offensive line, he went up against some incredible defensive fronts. They didn't blitz him. He had time, and he picked them clean. And obviously Belichick is a genius. How do the Rams beat him? They have to run the football, right?
They have to run it and stay balanced like they've been. And if the Rams want to beat him, they've got to get pressure in his face. They've got to make him move around a little bit. They've got to bring pressure from time to time and kind of keep him off balance. You can't play zone all against him. You can't play man all against him. You've got to do a combination of things and try and confuse him, and you've got to get some heat on him because he gets rid of the football so quickly that a lot of times you're going to be frustrated because you're not getting to him.
And a lot of teams are now afraid to send more than the front four. You're afraid to send extra pressure because he's going to kill you. That's when he gets the touchdown pass, and Edelman takes it the distance, or Gronk is open and he takes it the distance.
Yeah, and there used to be a day where, okay, you bring that pressure, maybe he gets rid of the football, but you could still nail him, right?
Yeah.
And get a good hit on him, and that makes a quarterback think. You can't nail the guys anymore.
And you were the one of the guys who used to get nailed back, and now you see these guys and they protect them.
Yeah, you see the roughing the quarterback he had against them in the New Orleans. I mean, in the Chiefs game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's still a phantom call, but that's what happens. They're protecting him. Anything that's close is going to get called.
Warren Moon, always great to see you, Warren, man. No matter where I go, you always seem to be there, man. I don't know what it is.
I'll always be there for you.
Thank you, brother.
All right,
Warren Moon, let's give him a round of applause. The Hall of Famer. One of my favorite guys of all time. Now, you're not even having a Super Bowl party here, though, Warren, are you? No, he's not having a Super Bowl party. I know. I go to other people's, too. We need a little transition music because we're going to come back. Still much more ahead, Luigi. How about the rundown of guests today?
It's been a huge rundown of guests. Speaking of rundown, The Rock was in the rundown, the movie The Rundown. He'll be running for office in 2024.
That's right.
Possibly.
The Rock is not going to run in 2020. That's big news.
Right.
And we have a minor league baseball update today.
We're talking baseball at the football?
Bryce Harper has not signed. We will have an update on it. Did you see the picture?
No, I missed that again.
It's an annual tradition. You met her last year.
Yes.
And there's one tradition. I don't care about media night and going there and schmoozing with the players. I care about my annual reunion and the picture. So we do the 10 years, you know, they do on Twitter, 10 years ago. And I have 10 years ago all the way up to, so I don't just have the picture from 10 years and then 2019, like 2009 and 2019. I go back to 2005 all the way to 2019, and every single year I have a picture with Inez signs.
And you also have your every single year you talk to Bonnie Jill.
Bonnie Jill.
And Holly Robinson Pete, who I've yet to see.
I don't know if she's here.
She's got to be here. She's got to be making around. I've seen more and more media start to come in. I've seen more and more players come in. Some local people. Your boy Sal Powell said what's up, too. I saw him earlier.
I ran into him on the street the other night. He thought I was a homeless guy.
Well, most people do.
Exactly.
And then, but yeah, you got to get that. And then there's, what else is there? You had Siciliano with you, right?
Yeah, Andrew stopped on yesterday.
Okay.
But so far today, Mark Summers from Super Sloppy Double Dare.
That was awesome.
We had DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, who did not perform the diamond cutter on Andrew. I almost called you Andrew because I was ripping him yesterday. See, I rip all my my partners.
Right.
It keeps you straight. It keeps you tough. It's tough love. It's not anger and criticism.
Yeah, loving you is tough, pal. I'll tell you that.
You don't want to be right if loving you is wrong.
I hear you.
Leslie Visser and Mark Schlereth, Lee Steinberg, Michael Irvin, Warren Moon. Where are you getting that?
Nowhere.
Where are you getting that kind of quality radio?
Now, if all goes well, the next person headed this way is Merrill Hodge.
Merrill Hodge, you remember him?
There's Merrill right there.
Where's Merrill
Hodge?
Hodge?
He's right there.
Where?
He's right there in the green shirt.
I don't see him.
He's walking.
I see him.
He's actually walking over right now.
I seen him. I know
He's
him.
making his way over right now.
And then we're going to have to go to Australia a little bit, too, because I
will.
got to bring my boy Duncan over.
I seen him walking. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I embarrassed myself yesterday with Duncan.
Yes, you did, Tony.
He walked up to me, and I said, I thought he was somebody else.
But here's one guy you can never mistake.
No, I mean, we go way, way
the
back.
great Merrill Hodge.
Back into time when the Steelers weren't even good. Merrill Hodge was there. Before they had 6, 5 for the one for the thumb.
One for the thumb.
Merrill Hodge, how are you, buddy?
Tony. Tony. It's good to see you, Tony. I feel like I was just climbing Mount Everest to get here for you.
Yeah, you're out
Hello,
of breath,
Tony.
man. You got to get some of this
Hello, Tony.
alkaline 88 water
Oh, I
from
love
Michael
alkaline.
Irvin.
I love alkaline.
It's really important. People understand how important.
pH balance, alkaline, absolutely.
Exactly.
Your
They do it in
pH balance.
swimming pools, right? And
Yes.
in aquariums. If we're making sure the alkaline in aquariums and swimming pools is good, why not in our
Help your
bodies?
pH. Help your pH.
So you're a
baby.
big pH.
Well,
You're
I'm
a
a big pH guy. I'm at what people say I got a drinking problem. I do. I drink hydrate.
Exactly.
Hydrate with water, H2O, a few electrolytes to dabble in there, but nothing more than that.
So now what are you up to today? I know we talked last year about some of the stuff that you've been involved with.
Yeah, Your Call Football.
Your
We're
Call
back for
Football.
season 2, baby.
Beautiful,
Now, remember,
man.
Mike Sherman and I, we're going to go at it, right?
Yep.
Okay, Mike's not here, so I can say this stuff, right? So we go 4 games. My team went 4-0. The power beat the grit.
Beautiful.
4-0. Now, so people know what Your Call Football, what makes this pro league different than any other league.
Now, Luigi, he's a big fantasy guy. He loves all these
so
types of things.
Well, you like Madden? Our plays. So you get to call our plays. You watch their plays, you call ours, you call all of them. So it's live football, pro football. What I do every time the ball is placed, I put a bundle up on the screen. That bundle has 3 play options. Fans have 10 seconds to vote.
Okay.
The majority of the votes, once that 10 seconds is up, is the play that I send into my quarterback. I can't change that play. I got to live with that play. So let's say you can't stay for the whole game. Now we have no punts, no kickoffs. Once you cross the 50, you have to go for it on 4th down, which I love.
So no Cody Parkey hitting the upright and then the then the crossbar.
Well, it could happen because see, you can opt for a field goal.
Oh, you can?
You can opt for a field goal, but if you're on their 45-yard line and it's 4th and 10, you might want to go for it versus kick a field goal.
Especially if you're Doug Peterson, you're going to go for it anywhere on the field on 4th down.
Amen. I just love the challenge of
That's really cool.
going for it on 4th down. But it's going to give. You can go to yourcallfootball.com. That gives you really all the ways to play the game, plus the app to download, and it's all free. We gave $70,000 away last year. If you call a perfect game, you win $1 million.
Wow, Luigi's one guy who's capable of calling a perfect game.
So even if you listen, you just want some gas money, swing by and make a couple $1,000, for a quarter, and then bell. I mean, it's
gas
gonna be
$1,000 for gas money.
Yeah, that's what gas
What are you
money.
driving?
Gas
a monster
money.
truck?
Oh, yeah.
It's my jet that has to take me home.
Exactly
tomorrow.
right.
Your citation or your
And wait a
Gulfstream?
minute, we're going to run out of gas about halfway there now.
10-minute quarters.
Well, we're done in. They're running clocks, and
Okay.
we are 5-minute halftime. We're done in 2 hours.
Okay.
So we move it along fast. But what we did find out last year, you always learn when you launch things. You learn things. Even 2 hours was a long time for fans to stick with. Or say something happens. Let's say something comes up, and after halftime, which happened to my daughter, she was winning. She was leading the leaderboard in calling plays, and the kids had to go to bed. It's time to get them ready for bed. She's like, so she had to belt. Now, what made her feel better is because she's related to me, she can't win any money.
Right.
So that made her feel better. But now, let's say you can only play the third. You get there at halftime. You just want to play the whole second half. You can play the second half.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
And you can win some money doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's not like Fortnite, though. You don't have to.
Our first game will be February 25th. We'll
So
launch
all
it.
the games are live. So this isn't
Monday
a pre-recorded
night, yep.
simulation,
Nope, it's
right?
all live.
This is a live game that you'll be playing against Merrill Hodge.
Yes, and Solomon Wilcox is the
And
other head
Solomon
coach.
Wilcox?
Yeah, Mike is.
He's one of the original sharp-dressed men.
Yes. So Mike Sherman is head coach up at Toronto, so he couldn't be the head coach of the Grit team this year. So we hired Solomon Wilcox, and he'll take over that team. And We'll get it on, brother.
Beautiful.
It's going to be fun. We're
And one of
excited
the
about
other
it.
things, and people who don't follow your career, you know how people happens is like, oh, I don't remember Merrill Hodge playing, and that's what happens as
Well,
we
that's
all get
right.
older.
I mean, it's been a while.
I know.
I can't remember when I played sometimes.
I remember when you played, and I remember, you were one of the guys, and when I think of people who have gone through what we're seeing now at least become important, is CTE and how to deal with it, because in your era before you played, and even when you were playing, guys got concussions and they got up and they, go over the sideline.
We did nothing for head trauma for a long time.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
and you go back in the game.
Cost me my career.
Yeah, and so it's an important thing, not just because of you, and I know you and work with you, but the fact that it's now becoming front and center for all athletes, not just NFL players, but all players, even at the youth level, because we can't forget about those kids because they're getting concussed too.
Well, that's why I went to Congress in 2009 to plead in front of Congress to establish a protocol for all head trauma for all of youth sports for ages 8 to 18, because 99% of our athletes are 8 to 18.
Right.
Okay, they're not in the NFL, they're not in college. Okay, you got 1,800 and a handful of NFL players, 100,000 or so in college, millions from 8 to 18, and we were doing nothing in 2009 for head trauma. But let me clear something up about, it's a book I wrote called Brainwashed, and the reason I did it, Tony, is because of the mass misconception of this CTE pattern. I was no different than you. I read the headlines, seen the papers, but I do have resources and experience to go find out what are the facts about it. And I went to neuropathologists and sat down with them individually in this country and in Canada and asked them, explain it to me. What is it? And they would always say the same thing to me. They'd say, Merrill, it's a pattern we're observing. We're in an observation state. We have no idea what causes it. We don't know what it causes. We have cases in the medical journal, they never played football, never played hockey, never played sports, never had a history of head trauma that have this pattern. And I was like, now time out. I only hear it's in football and in hockey. You're not saying that. That's why we're in an observation state. For the narrative to get to where it is, I can't tell you how grotesquely wrong it is because there's no scientific evidence to back that. Once I found that out, I just really felt strongly a book to clarify what the science really is saying, where we are in sports, specifically youth sports, how much better, safer that environment is from not just protocols, equipment, and instruction, but the treatment and therapies that are involved now, how we're repairing kids. My son had a similar situation by slipping in the shower. Keep in mind, do you remember John Saunders?
Absolutely, yes.
John
Our buddy
Saunders. John Saunders struggled with severe post-concussion syndrome for years. His life was being robbed from him from tripping in a studio and hitting his head. It wasn't until I sent him to get treatment, and he did a cognitive plan and a cardiovascular and a nutritional plan, and 6 months later, he finally had regained his brain health that he had lost for years. Those things are the empowering information that are not only I can prove scientifically to you, I can give you physical evidence of it. There's no scientific evidence that if you get a concussion or play contact sports, especially as a kid, you're going to have issues later in life. There's none. Subconcussion is not even scientific. It's science fiction, and the literature of subconcussion says this stuff. Poorly defined. It's misleading. There's no way to measure it, and until they can measure it, which you can't, it is nothing but science fiction. That's in the scientific literature. There's nothing in the scientific literature that says subconcussions are A, B, and C, and we've done the proper steps. None. So once I realized all that, I wanted to let people know all of the facts, and then you do with it what you want. Then wouldn't you rather have all the information before you made a decision?
Absolutely.
So it was really a book to help empower parents, give them all the facts about sports so they're not in fear for their kids. They're creating the best and safest environment they are for them.
And we had Nick Lowry's involved with CTE, and a lot of former players are now going out and teaching others that there are ways, and you're absolutely right, there are ways if you've had head trauma to help
yourself.
Repair the brain.
Right.
Bill Romanowski, Romo is a friend.
Yeah.
He's on the oxygen, the hyperbaric chamber. Anything to make the brain heal, you still have a chance.
You know what's the leading contributors? I'll let you. The leading people need to know this. One of the leading contributors to all brain health, cardiovascular disease, and cancers are obesity, sugar consumption, which leads to inflammation, drugs, alcohol, opioids, inactivity, age, genetics. Okay, age and genetics we can't do anything about, and only genetics if you have a dementia type thing in your family. So that doesn't mean everybody. can't do anything about our age. Just be grateful we're getting older. All those other things are lifestyles. They are choices. And so former players, a lot of players are being unaccountable for what they're doing with their lives. They're drinking, they're obese, their lifestyle is a wreck, and you're going to sit there and go. And I have scientific evidence and physical evidence that those things ruin your brain, okay?
Right.
It is a fact. And you, oh, no, that didn't. Football did. And there's no scientific evidence of that. Now, I'm not saying having a concussion or not taking care of head trauma is a good thing. It's not. Ended my career. That's why I went to Congress. But there are treatments and therapies. Post-concussion symptoms are different than a brain, like dementia and Alzheimer's and stuff like that.
Right.
Completely different subjects. And they get blurred together, and that's wrong. It's wrong, and it's uninformed when people talk in that manner.
Yeah, the cause and effect. I mean, one thing does not always lead. Just because one thing happens.
Association.
Association is.
Well, see, and that's it's just like this. Okay, we're on a plane, turbulence hits. I say, put on your seatbelt. Okay, turbulence stops. Okay, did the seatbelt stop it? Okay, well, if it did, just keep our seatbelt on. It's just seatbelts have nothing to do with turbulence.
Right.
Okay, there's just an association with it because when you get turbulence, you want to put it on. Well, that's why I go back to all the cases that never played football, never played hockey, never played contact sports, never had a history of head trauma. If they have the pattern, well, we do know this. You can't say it's football, you can't say it's contact sports, and you can't say it's concussion. So what is it? And then I'll go back to the other thing they said. And this doesn't mean you're going to have anything. Because a brain, I mean, tau, we actually all have tau. Tau, and they call it a disease. And I always get confused by that. But you know what? Your freckle, that's a disease because it's an abnormality of the skin. But that doesn't mean you're going to get skin cancer.
Right.
So we actually all have taus, and it means nothing that you're going to have some type of cognitive disorder later in life.
No, I mean that's why when I want to talk about this stuff, I go to the people who've understood it, who've lived it, and then who find out the facts about it rather than just spread misinformation.
Well, and a lot of times a narrative gets disseminated because they have an ulterior motive. Follow the money, follow the money. And it's not always in the best interest of what is really going on.
Just all you got to do is go to Boston University. Why? Okay, Tommy Sabas, the Atlanta Falcon, that they just released his autopsy today. Okay, his autopsy is in 2017. Why would you release his autopsy today?
Right.
Some 13, 14 months later, and then claim he had the most severe CTE. First of all, CTE has never killed anybody, okay? It's not responsible for any death. It's not responsible for anybody committing suicide either. I'll get to that in a second. But why would Boston University let that out today here in Atlanta during the week of the Super Bowl? Why would they do that? Okay, they are as corrupt as I could. If there's another brain disease or disorder, it must be acknowledged and CT must be excluded. In the 110 out of 111 brains, do you know how many brains had another neurodegenerative disease of the 110? Over 50%.
Oh, I was going to say all of them. But
so guess what? Those are null and void in that particular study. That's why that study is one of the lowest level, bottom barrel
BS
pieces of scientific garbage that you could possibly do and keep your head in the somewhat respectable category. And Ann McKee, who did that paper, if you read the 90% paper she wrote, these words are in it. It says, caution. You can't use this study that she just did because of its biased work. Its methodology is terrible to give anybody the sense of degree of what CTE is, disease is. Okay, what degree, what sense of it exists in society. It says in the scientific paper, don't use this. You can't because it's so bad. She's quoted as saying, after doing the study I just wrote, you can't use it. I got to believe every football player has it. Now, that's a grotesque abuse of the Hippocratic Oath. You signed an oath to do no harm to people. You're influencing people in ways you scientifically have no evidence of. You're lying. You're making it up, and you're creating a hysteria without any scientific evidence. And that, to me, is criminal.
No, I totally agree with you, and I'm glad you're out there doing this stuff, man, because so many people just think they know, and they'll just, it's got to be PTSD, it's got to be a CTE, and they just throw all these initials out without understanding.
And they don't know. And when you start asking them, Tony.
You mentioned it. You fall in the shower.
Right.
You have a concussion. Does that mean you're not going to get over it?
When somebody starts talking about subconcussion, or if they even question, Let's have a website, brainwashbook.com, where we put the scientific literature up. So I'm going to let you read it, okay? I want you to read it. I'm not sitting there hiding anything from it. Somebody starts talking and saying concussions cause CT, or they use football or contact sports, or you're going to get CT. If they have to say anything about some contact activity, you're going to get CT later in life, you put them on the spot and say, okay, show me the scientific literature. Now, define scientific literature, because last time I did this, somebody actually sent me an article from Sports Illustrated. I'm like, are you kidding me? You don't even know what the scientific literature is. Sports Illustrated is the last place you're going to go look, and you clearly don't go to the New York Times.
From Vogue.
You got to go to JAMA and journals like that and look at the literature, okay? Just so we have clarity what you're looking for. And if people have called me a denier, I'm just like, no. An actual denier is somebody who is ignoring all the facts before they make an evaluation.
Exactly.
If you have failed to do any of your due diligence and read the scientific literature, actually, you're the denier. Because you haven't educated yourself on the truth. You've read some article or the local paper that gives you nothing.
There's a lot of that going around in this day and age.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is so true. That's why, you know what, you got to have some common sense too.
You know, because everybody wants you, like, I don't want to get into politics, because if you're climate deniers, nobody denies that the climate, but the science, but they want you to believe science that's not complete. It's based on some scientist saying, yes, and we're going to, in 12 years from now, we're all going to die.
Right. You know what's funny? Okay, now listen, I don't know where that's probably never happened before. No, what do they say? This hasn't happened for 142 years.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So what happened 142 years ago? I'm like, wait.
It's like Dallas Cowboy fans thinking the NFL started in 1960 and not acknowledging any of the championships won before then, before there was Super Bowl.
Bring it back to that.
Isn't that what it is? I mean, that's what it is.
I love it.
Right?
So true. You know, that's why if you start asking the right questions,
Yep.
like this, prove it. Just give me what you're saying. Show me the scientific literature. I'll shut up. I'll pull my book. You can't use those papers that say, well, might, more research, possibly. I love this word when you read this in the scientific literature. We don't know. I mean, shouldn't you stop right there? Like, if you don't know, just shut up. Why are you presenting anything when you just wrote, we don't know?
Exactly.
Crazy.
I didn't mean to get you off on the tangent there, but I know how much you feel about this, and because it's affected your life. But I know you got to run, man, and I really appreciate
seeing you guys,
seeing you and hearing you spit facts and game, man.
Well, as Coach Calhoun once said,
get some facts and come back and see me.
And he has, and he comes back and sees us all the time.
That's right. And you know what? There's your denier. If they don't have the evidence, if they haven't done the facts or their research, they're the deniers. Because
Exactly.
you're denying the truth and the evidence of it.
Merrill Hodge, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together right now for my man. Still a Steeler, always a Steeler. Or Stiller, as they say up there.
Stellars.
Until they get Le'Veon Bell or Antonio
Brown.
Brown back, they'll still be the Steelers as long as they got Big Ben for another 10 years.
well, I'll tell you what, and Antonio Brown is gone. He gone.
He gone?
He gone. And I don't think Le'Veon's coming back either with the emergence of James Conner. Tony, it's so hard to talk to you through this
I know,
sign
Robin's got this sign
that
up.
says, smile, you're on camera for the guests. And I'm literally, Tony and I are looking at each other through this thing, trying to communicate it. It's so funny.
It's like, you know, it's like I'm trying to think, it's like being in a diner.
Yes.
And you know when they have the booths, and then they have that little thing above the booth.
Tony,
so you separate people with a piece of wood.
But you know what they don't have in the diners anymore that used to be a staple? The little jukeboxes.
No, they have them in some old school ones.
But they don't see them enough anymore. They were great though. You put the quarter in, you get like a couple plays while you're sitting. You used to have one in Friendlies.
Yes.
And up in the Northeast, which is
Yes.
fantastic. You know where they don't have Friendlies?
Where?
In Australia, because nothing's friendly in Australia. Everything will kill you there.
Now, we've given you Hall of Fame talent from this great nation in the world of sports. We've brought in people from entertainment. We brought in comics. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we go down under, as we used to say. I go down under in other ways as well.
I hear you.
But a man who has actually exposed me to the greatness that is Fox Sports Australia. A man who came to Minnesota last year and dazzled the entire, not only the great Midwest, the Plain States, the flyover country, that people like Bruce Murray ignore because he lives in New York and he doesn't care about the middle of the country like we all do. But a man who's been to cricket games. In fact, he left Australia. A cricket game had started last year, and by the time he got back after the Super Bowl, it was still going on.
In fact, it's in overtime right now. They've just gone to overtime.
My man, Duncan, let me see the bottom because I have to get the hyphen in there. Because when you have a hyphenated last name, You got to make sure you get it.
It's Duncan McKenzie McCarg.
That's right. Duncan McKenzie
I
McCarg.
cheated, though. I did have to look at it.
No, I
again,
remember.
I remember the first part, but I couldn't quite remember the
And
second.
I don't care what he says.
I just call him Duncan.
As long as he talks, it's impressive.
That is one of the greatest intros I think I've ever had. Can I have that on my eulogy? I think everything you said, I'm not sure if it was true, but it was absolutely brilliant,
Duncan,
Tony. And I
thank
must
you.
say, though, to your listeners out there, though, after all that special time we spent this time last year in the pub at Minnesota, and I saw Tony in tears. I saw all the team here crying, hugging each other.
That's when I got the
and
check.
what meant-
That's what had happened.
And I just thought that was a fantastic moment in my life.
You're like part of the family now, though.
The first voice I heard here on Radio Row when I was setting up was Tony's loud voice. I went over to Tony. This is not true, Robin?
Yes.
I went over to Tony and I said, Tony, how are you, mate? Tony's like, who are you? Are you Daniel? Are you? And I thought,
I really
after
did that.
all the memories we
I
had
know.
together a year
I'm
ago.
ashamed. I mean, there's no
I hate to
excuse
do
for
it.
it.
I hate to do it to you, Tony.
No,
I hate to do it.
I agree. That's
It was so funny because I'm like,
something.
A headlock.
and I was just shocked. I'm like, really,
Oh, I'm embarrassed.
Tony?
I
Really?
actually hid in
fine,
my
Tony.
kangaroo pouch. I was looking for a kangaroo,
So you
and what's
crawl in.
the Joey? I was
Yes.
going to be a Joey and go into a sack of a mom kangaroo. That's how embarrassed and shamed I was.
You should have
Because
been.
He was
You
one of
were.
my favorite people in Minnesota
know.
last
You-
year.
You were
You
definitely
and-
4 million people. It was
Exactly.
one of the greatest days ever. No, it was a great day.
24
And it's
million
great
peop-
to see you guys again.
It is,
I have
and you
missed
look great, man. I mean,
Thanks.
I get older, and you stay like Bruce Murray, who was one of my producers at ESPN. He still looks the same, but he also looks like he just came out of sleeping in some storefront.
Well, nobody
on
can
the
see
street.
What?
nobody can see Bruce right now because I don't have the camera set up on him.
But if you could, you see him shaking his head going, what the hell are you talking
Got the
about?
old storefront look.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm trying to be as descriptive as possible.
That
It's
paints
radio.
a great picture right there, Tony.
It does. That's
Great
that's why Bruce respects
Regular
whenever
Red
I
Wild over
criticize him.
Bruce is going to come on next.
He's going
He
to
just
come on.
wants to hang
but I
out.
want to see Duncan here because I want to get down to this year because last year I not schooled you.
You totally schooled me.
I
Tony.
educated
Look at this
you.
beautiful radio setup. I mean,
I mean,
we
it
haven't
is.
seen anything like this in Australia.
It's a coat
You've got
rack,
a
is what
media
it is.
wall. You've got hashtags.
It's
You've even
become
got
a
your
code.
own
Cameras.
silhouette logo.
Exact.
I mean, you are a true radio superstar.
And look, our set. You look at all these other radio stations. This looks like mission control at NASA.
Yeah.
Compared to all these other shows.
Ground
And you know
control
what?
to Tony Bruno.
We're
I
dumb
know. I
because
love
they're
that.
doing it with one little box, and we've got like 72,000. Robin's got a computer screen that's 75 inches,
I love it. You got about 400 assistants here.
400
Yeah.
assistants.
You got cameras.
We're doing something wrong, though. If we, I would love to just be able to travel with a suitcase.
Well, me too.
That would be great.
And go on box cars and then jump
Yeah.
box cars, or go on those car
Although-
haulers and sneak in a car and then go cross country without anybody knowing you're in there.
How many boxes does it take to fit all this gear in? It's it's like a road show.
No, it's like a Ringling Brothers circus when they would bring the circus to town and they'd have all the box cars with the elephants and this
Yeah.
is what this is. It's like the roadies at a country concert. You know, you
great.
have like a tractor trailer loaded with all the crap in
Except
there.
I want actually to get one of the Pepsi snack bots that they have. It's like a little traveling robot that follows you around. But instead of putting snacks in it, we just put all of our gear, and it travels with you. You don't have to do anything.
It
You don't
looks
have to
amazing.
carry.
I think you guys have probably got the most impressive set here on Radio Row.
Well, thank you.
You're just saying that because I kissed
Outside
her
of
ass.
the Sirius
Oh yeah,
XM.
the big
Yeah.
guys.
Now, how many other people interviewed you last year in Minnesota and gave you the love and respect that you deserve for being a journalist who's traveled around the world?
No one like you, Tony, last year. But I must admit, if I can name drop a couple of names from
ahead.
my experience this year, I've had an incredible experience. So I flew in 6:30 p.m. from Australia on Monday night.
Right.
Had to get the Rams at 7:10. Super Bowl opening night, State Farm Arena. It was amazing. I managed to push my way to the front, waited an hour and a half for Tom Brady, managed to get 4 questions to Tom Brady about Australia. My first question to Tom was, Tom, you're such an incredible athlete, but my question is, are there any athletes from Australia that inspire you? And Tom said to me, oh, yeah, there is a guy, Dan, someone, he plays for the All Blacks. Do you know Dan? And I said, the All Blacks? That's New Zealand, Tony.
Yes,
That's not
exact-
Australia.
We
What are
hate
you
to
talking
do it.
about, Tom?
We hate to do it. I had to give Tom Brady one of these, even though he's the GOAT.
Oh, man. I was so flat. I couldn't believe it, Tony. So then I basically said, okay, well,
Is he saying that everybody in New Zealand and Australia look the same,
Exactly
sound
the
the
same.
same, and do the same things?
it's like saying Americans and Canadians are exactly the same.
They're not.
Crazy!
It is. It's racist, and I won't stand for it. And now I will denounce Tom Brady publicly, Robin.
No, to be honest, he was great. In Australia, he said hopefully in March. So he gave me a fair bit of my time. And then I just spoke with Patriots owner and CEO Robert Kraft.
Yes, we call him Bob.
Bob gave me 2.5 minutes of his time. Very, very generous, and he was, very giving about stories of
Did
Australia.
he have a couple of strippers with him at least?
Right. He was talking about the ladies in Australia, which I might have to edit out of my package. Yeah, and the beer, the Foster's
and the beer. But
Bob Kraft is the only thing that can't be killed in Australia.
By the way, and you pointed out last year that Foster's is not the official beer of Australia.
Hell no. Carlton Draft, Victoria Bitter, 4X. Anything,
See, Christian, who's understanding beer now and appreciating the fine lagers and all the other craft beers in America, he probably is convinced that Foster's, what do they call it, the oil can? That's like the Australia's beer because they lie about it in Foster's. And listen, people like it. I'm not telling you not to drink it.
Yeah.
But they market to Americans that Foster's is Australian for beer.
Yeah.
Well, that's because the fabulous Crocodile Dundee made that fantastic commercial that everybody remembers. Put the shrimp on the barbie.
Paul Hogan is a national treasure. Be careful what you say, all right?
Yeah,
that man's a national treasure.
I'm not knocking that, but he did such a fantastic job marketing for Foster's that everybody now thinks that that's the number one beer.
But you know what else he did? He made the knife popular, too.
That's not a knife.
This is a knife. Exactly.
Now the best is when
and you didn't even have to put on a fake accent to do that. That's great.
Just bang it on.
That's like authentic.
You should wait to hear my American accent.
The best is when they ask him. He goes, he's like, he goes, "How you doing tonight?" or whatever. He throws a knife through the guy's hair. He goes, "Better than average." he's like, no. He goes, "What do you think your chances are getting out of here alive?" He throws a knife through the guy's head. He goes, "Better than average." All right, no problem. No problem.
Now Hugh Jackman is one of our friends. We've met him.
Yes.
They love him in Australia.
He was that short.
He is. He's like tiny. He's shorter than Robin.
Really?
Yeah.
He's got one thing about Hugh, very friendly, and also an incredible voice.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. He
He's
does
got
everything.
One of the best voices on Broadway.
Yes.
He
I mean,
does
he can do
everything. He can do
everything.
He's stinking Wolverine. His fingers turn into metal plates.
I know. And God was like, you know what? You can have Q. You can have like handsome, good looks. You can have. We just had a stack here behind.
Eddie George just went down, ladies and gentlemen.
Eddie George. Wait, no.
Eddie George just got tripped up the line of scrimmage.
Brian, that's not Eddie.
That's Brian Mitchell.
What's the matter with you? Wait a minute. I hate to do it to you now.
Oh. Did we get that on camera? No, I don't think so. No. Actually, we might have. That might have happened right behind Tony.
I got a pretty good view of that. I think he rolled an
It was
ankle.
Steve Zabin trying to tackle
Brian Mitchell. That's what it was.
I'm going to have to rewind it. I might have gotten it on tape.
Did we get that on tape? Scott, did we get that? Well, we have multiple cameras here.
We do. It's like CCTV over here.
We got multiple cameras. We may be able to rerun that later on the 11 o'clock news with Steve Zabin, I think. I think he's doing the 11 o'clock tonight. So now, how many live broadcasts are you doing back to Australia? Because the timing is different. Because right now here,
it's insane, mate.
It's 3:15 in the afternoon Eastern time. What time is it right now in
Right
Auckland,
now?
Australia? No, I know it's New Zealand.
You got that one?
No, I was a
Kiwi
joke.
jokes.
No.
Bloody Tony
What time is it
Bruno.
right now?
Stitching me up all the time. It's probably mid-morning. Yeah. It's probably about 11 a.m., I reckon.
But how many? Is it one time zone in all of Australia? Because
No.
I haven't been there.
Hello.
That's why I'm asking. I don't know.
Australia is the size of the United States.
Right.
Yes.
So, but it's not broken down the same as the United States, right?
Well, it's like there's Perth, which is on the west coast.
Perth, right.
Is 3 hours behind Melbourne, which is on the east coast.
Which is pretty much the same as West Coast versus
so
East
it's
Coast United States.
7:14 a.m. right now. Is that in Sydney? Where in Australia? Which one? Kingston?
Yeah, that's East Coast time.
That's the East Coast.
Yeah.
So right now on the East Coast. Now, is your show nationwide or is it just
nationwide?
So 24 million people in how many different time zones in Australia?
5. Oh,
jeez.
3.
3 time zones?
Yeah.
Are listening, and it's either 7:15 a.m.
Yep.
8:15 a.m.
Yep.
or 9:15 a.m. tomorrow morning. So he'll be able to tell us who wins in the NBA tonight so Luigi can get some action in, already knowing that it's Thursday.
Traveling in the future.
Well, we do have the great Ben Simmons, who plays for the Philadelphia 76ers.
That's exactly right,
Now,
yes.
what's going to happen? Because what I've been reading is some people think that Ben should be traded to another team because there isn't enough room for Joel Embiid. We've got a wave over there. Joel Embiid, Jimmy Butler, and Ben Simmons. And that made us as Australians very, very upset because I don't think you guys realise that everyone in Australia right now is a Philadelphia 76ers fan. If you go down to Australia, you go to the main street of Melbourne or Sydney, everyone's wearing Simmons 76ers jerseys.
They're not wearing Kylie Jenner jerseys down there?
What about the great Patty Mills, multiple-time NBA champion?
But this guy's a #1 draft pick. It's one of
Patty Mills got 3 NBA titles.
It's one of these things, guys, that Ben is probably the biggest superstar in Australian
sport. He's 7 foot tall.
At the moment, he's nearly 7 foot tall, and he's only, 21, 22 years of age, and he's already the biggest star in Australia.
Wow.
We have Australians flying over in droves to Philadelphia to watch the 76ers play. They're selling 4 and 20 meat pies at the Wells Fargo Centre.
They are?
They are selling traditional Australian meat pies so that when Aussies go and watch Ben play, they can have a 4 and 20 meat pie.
Now, what's in a 4 and 20 meat pie?
Actually, 4 and 20 is his shooting percentage every night because he can't hit a jump shot is what it is.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. No, now Brett Brown coached in Australia as well.
That's right, yeah, he did.
And then now, in the NFL, Australian kickers the punters are dominating.
What about Michael Dixon? He made it into the Pro Bowl.
Yes.
Seattle Seahawks punter, first year.
The Eagles punter is an Aussie.
It's a great time to be an Australian right now.
Yes, it is.
It's a great time to be
Screw it,
alive.
I'm moving to Australia right now. Is it winter or summer? There's summer there now, right?
Summer, 100%.
I'm going to go down there.
Over 100 degrees.
And I'm going to go out, and we were looking for, what were the animals we were looking for last year? The
Oh, you mean the really
koalas?
vicious birds?
No, the vicious animals.
The lizards?
Sharks, snakes,
No,
spiders?
no, it's a vicious bird
Mailman.
that attacks people with a blue head.
Really?
You're talking to an Australian, Robin. He knows the vicious birds down
Well,
there.
apparently he doesn't. Because
No, it's an animal that was extinct, but they found it again.
With the blue head?
It's not a bird. No, it's not a bird.
I thought you were talking about the birds that were attacking people. The big, like they were the size of
the
an
ones
emu.
that run across the road and then come after you? Those are big birds, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
All right, you got to stay away from the brown snake. It's the most venomous snake in the world. You got to stay away from the redback spider. I believe that can kill you in 15 minutes. We've got great white sharks.
Well, of course.
When
barrier
you
reef.
have one test bite and you're cooked.
Blue-ringed octopus.
Honestly,
and
Australia
those koalas.
has,
Sorry to interrupt you, Robin, but the koalas, they might look cute and cuddly.
They're nasty.
They're vicious.
Yeah.
They have big claws.
and they're messy. They're really messy. Almost all of them have like gonorrhea or STDs. And
Gonorrhea?
They would fit well in Hollywood.
I
and
forget
then Ben
which one
Simmons,
it
that's why
is,
we don't want him to go out to the West Coast and play for the Lakers.
With it, and I mean, obviously it's a koala version of it. And
this is
they
what
shit
Robin's
themselves
talking
all
about.
the time.
This is the one you're talking about, Robin. That's the one you're talking
What's
about.
it called now for those
the
listening?
cassowary or whatever it is?
Yeah, the cassowary.
That's right, the cassowary.
The cassowary is the bird that I was talking about, but you're talking about the
a lizard.
something tiger, right?
Yeah. The Tasmanian tiger.
Of course.
The Tasmanian tiger.
Extinct for 60 years.
But now they're finding them again.
But they said that there was we watched a show that said that they've actually have evidence that there might be 1 or 2 still alive.
Yes, they're bringing them back. Not the Tasmanian devil, which still exists.
Right.
This is the Tasmanian tiger.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I watch all those science shows.
Can I just say, you guys have got to get on the show. Philadelphia Eagles, 350-pounder, Jordan Mailata. Have you heard about this guy?
Yes, absolutely.
Of course. The rugby guy.
You
got to get him on. He can't play.
He can't play, but you got to get him on the show because he's one of the greatest sports stories that I can think of.
Absolutely.
We would love to get him on.
That's
the
when I
show.
say he can't play. He's on the.
You know, you have his contact info. It must be so easy for you to get dates.
You think so?
Oh God, American women eat accents up.
Why is that though?
Because Americans sound like dopes, but when you have either a British or an Australian or a Kiwi accent, it just sounds better.
What sounds better, British, Kiwi, or Aussie?
I got to go Aussie right now. I got to go Aussie.
Because you can do English.
Well, I
can do an English accent.
Think
English is a lot
British
more
is a little bit more common around here. So the Aussie is something that is a novelty, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Now,
like some of the British accents, the Cockney, it's like indecipherable.
Totally.
Well, to you.
You can't, to anybody. That's why I can't watch all these British shows Robin watches. I don't understand a word they're saying.
Yeah.
And they're speaking English.
Yeah.
They're not speaking German or
G'day,
Dutch.
mate, how you doing? I'm from England. How you doing?
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
then you got Northern English.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
like, all right, mate, you doing
Yeah.
okay?
And
Like,
then the
like
Scots.
Beatles,
Right.
And then the Scots.
No
you
one
can't
understands the hell
understand.
they're saying, man.
You can't
And the
understand
Scots
a
are like,
word.
Oh, I'm from Scotland.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
See, now I love those.
No, I
And
don't
the
like
Irish?
the Scotch.
The heavy Irish brogue.
No, because they're all redheaded chicks with freckles. It just doesn't
Hello.
sound as
Bob Ross says, forget about the brown snake. Stay away from the brown eye, man. That's what Those are our friends checking in on Facebook Live and social media watching around the world.
So
as
to
well.
recap, my man Duncan here says cricket is the #1 sport in Australia.
That's correct.
And then what's number 2? Aussie rules football?
I would say so, yeah. Yeah.
And then what? Basketball's big there now.
Not really. It's getting big now with Ben, and obviously Joe Ingles is an Australian.
Yep. Plays
Patty
for Utah.
Mills, yeah, for sure. Matthew Dellavedova, the little scrapper for the
Yes.
Cleveland
Is
Cavaliers.
he still in the league, Matthew Dellavedova?
Yeah, he's playing with the Cavs.
Well, nobody's
Actually,
playing with the Cavs. Have you seen them play lately?
So let's see.
I think you and I could beat the Cavs, Tony.
If you had a backcourt of Patty Mills, Dellavedova,
Yep.
Simmons at the 4,
Yep.
Ingles at the 3,
Aaron Baines in the
and
center.
Aaron Baines at the center, it could compete.
Yeah.
It could compete.
We're still trying to win our first Olympic medal.
Well, you've been trying for a long time, buddy. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, you know, we're trying.
No, that's good. I mean, that's why the NBA is an international game. That's why when they say world champions in the NBA, they're all the best players in the world come and play in the NBA.
100%.
You know, like baseball, when they call the World Series, it's not the World Series. Well, there are players from all over the world, too.
Yeah.
But there's so many parts of the world don't even know what baseball is.
No.
Yeah. Basketball's internet. It's probably the most soccer and basketball are the most well-known international sports.
I'd agree.
In other countries.
And it's so basketball now in Europe is just proliferating. It is so massive. You guys see all the talent that's coming, especially from Eastern Europe.
Yep.
And then you get a player like Luka Doncic who comes onto
Yes.
the scene
Unbelievable,
and totally
man.
dominates the game.
Yep.
He's almost transforming the way in which the game's being played and also the way in which recruiters are bringing talent into the game. So it's a fascinating time in the NBA.
You know
It's
what
a white European, Northern European, Australian kind of game now. Would you consider all of those people white? Well, how would you? Because everything's got to be race-based now.
Oh, yeah?
So are big European, Eastern European guys playing in the NBA who have a light complexion considered white? Europeans? Because it's all about skin texture and color now.
You know, it's weird. I haven't lived there in quite some time, but when I was growing up, I don't remember there being that much of an issue about color of skin.
There isn't. That's my point. There are great players who happen to be from Europe or Slavic countries or Australia or New Zealand, all over the world, Chinese players.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't care what color they are. They're the best players in the world.
What do you mean, you people?
I mean you people. All you people out there.
Well, Duncan probably has to go.
When are you going live
prepare-
now?
I'm not. I'm actually heading out to the New England Patriots.
When am I going to go live again to get 24 million Twitter followers and Instagram followers in Australia?
Well, mate, what I'm doing is I'm putting together a 1-hour show on Sunday morning Aussie time, which will probably be Saturday night our time, and I'm putting the best of the best. So at the moment I've got on my show Tom Brady, Robert Kraft, the general manager of Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Scott Jenkins, who I spoke to about the what's going on in the stadium. I'm going to try and get the punter from Ryan Allen from the New England Patriots, because the punter is the most famous and favoured position in Australia.
Yeah, they covet the kickers there,
because
man.
That's all we care about, you know what I mean? We care about the guy who kicks the ball because that's the only thing we can do.
Exactly.
Kick the ball.
Except field goals. You can punt, but you can't kick a field goal.
No, can't. That's
Off a
horrible.
hold.
Give us the ball in our hands and we'll just pump